Hey guys, welcome to my garden. It is the middle of October. It's absolutely beautiful out here today. I thought my time out in the garden was over the other day because we had cold weather. It snowed. It was just ugly out here. I didn't want to go outside, but this is Saskatchewan. This is the prairies. The weather can go up and down all fall. So today, beautiful day. I think it's about 13 degrees Celsius. Decided I was going to plant some more garlic just because I have some to plant. I'm just going to give you a quick tour, show you what my garden looks like before it gets put to bed for the winter. I'm pretty sure my days are numbered and things are going to, turn cold and stay cold. And I'm working on all my indoor growing right now. So just going to give you a quick tour what my garden looks like when I have it ready for the winter. So one thing about doing garden tours at this time of year, things don't look so green and lush like they do when you're doing a garden walkthrough in the middle of July. But that's just the way it is. Everything has been going to into dormancy, so to speak. The leaves around the yard have been absolutely gorgeous. A lot of them have blown away, but chokecherry trees have beautiful colors. They again are just starting to kind of die off and blow off, but they were really beautiful a couple weeks ago. I have some perennials here that I've just covered up with straw. So I have some irises, and in here, you can't really tell, is some milkweed. And that milkweed I started last winter using the winter sowing method in milk jugs. Got a good germination, got about 6 plants into the ground. They grew nicely all summer and just starting to die off with the freezes that we've had at night. So I'm burying it in a little bit of straw. I hope that these will come back next year and bloom and be a great pollinator for my garden. So yeah, the garden beds don't look that great. I left a few things in there. I leave the roots of my tomatoes and any other healthy plants that were in there. I just cut them off, left the roots in there to break down to add nutrients to the soil. Covered up some parsley and some dill with straw. Not sure if it'll come back in the spring, but for now I'm just covering the soil, see what comes up in the spring. Over here I had some chives that I think are under here, so I covered them up. I was trying to get this lettuce to go to seed. I did cut one branch off that I think I have some seed from. Going to try growing some of it indoors this winter. So keep watching for all the hydroponic videos coming to the channel. And over here I did a video on my first round of planting garlic. So I have half of this garden bed is garlic, hardneck garlic. This half is strawberries. They all are, you know, going into dormancy. They've been froze a couple times. So I have covered everything with straw, get it nice and insulated. I'm hopeful that my garlic will be okay. It's in an above ground bed here, which means it's not as insulated as if it was planted in the ground. But I may just add some more straw and stuff around the edges, which is a bit of a concern because it does attract mice, but we'll wait till it gets a little colder and maybe add some more insulation around this bed. Pretty sure we just had our last harvest of garden carrots the other night. We enjoyed a pot full of them with our supper. I had planted a second round mid-July and just harvested a bunch of them the other day. Some of them are still pretty tiny, but we did get a nice little meal from them. This has been a great way to grow carrots in these tubs. I had beautiful carrots this summer. They were super long, super straight. I had 4 different varieties that I need to write down because I want to plant them again next year. So along the edge of the trees here, you'll see I have comfrey growing. This is kind of a barrier that I created with comfrey to keep roots and weeds out of the garden. Not sure if that's doing its job, but these things are amazing. They're very hardy, they're very invasive, so I just want to make sure that they don't overtake my garden. But these things bloom early July and they bring in the bees and pollinators just like crazy. So they're great for that, great for chopping and dropping around plants. They are a compost accelerator, so you can chop up the leaves and add it to your compost pile throughout the season as well. And as you will see, even though we've had some pretty good hard frosts at night, these things have not died. I chopped a bunch of these down, like they were huge. They were probably 4 feet tall all along here. I chopped down all the leaves, added it into my garden beds here. Gonna let it just break down, add nutrients into this soil. And in the spring, probably we'll be topping this up with some more aged manure, compost, some kind of a mix, because this is a new bed that I just put up in the spring. It needs to be leveled and it needs to be topped up because everything's kind of settled now. Under here is where I am trying to kill off a piece of comfrey. This was the original plant that a friend gave me. Put it in here, took off like crazy. I was able to propagate roots from it to create this barrier over along the edge of the garden here. And now I'm trying to kill off the original plant here just because it's in a spot where I want to do other things. And it has been a challenge. I've cut it down multiple times. I've had this black tarp on it for probably 2 months now, and it is still trying to grow under there. I actually went in with a shovel and dug up most of the roots and burnt them in the burning barrel. Didn't even want to put them into my compost pile just in case they take off there because they are so invasive. So if you're going to grow with comfrey, be very careful. And if you have any experience with comfrey, any success with keeping it under control, any tips, just let me know. So today I just planted some more garlic in this spot here. And this is in the ground using garlic that I harvested from this spot this summer. And I thought I'm just going to replant all those cloves, see how they do, or those bulbs, and see if I can get another good batch of garlic from that. And every year you can just keep using those garlic cloves bulbs to plant again, and you never have to buy garlic again, hopefully, if you get a good crop. I did do some video of me planting here, but unfortunately I didn't have my volume turned on or my audio, so you'll see that I had cats helping me kind of. As soon as I tried to plant the garlic cloves, they immediately want to come in and try to dig them up. But I did add some aged manure to this area and put some worm castings in each hole, and then covered it up with a good layer of straw for insulation. I also kind of took the biggest cloves, started at one end, and got to the smaller cloves at this end, just to kind of see, because they say bigger cloves gives you a bigger garlic bulb. And then next spring we can, next summer we can actually see if that theory is true or not. So watch for that coming next summer, hopefully. So again, another spot that really doesn't look like much right now, but under here I have a bunch of grapes that I rooted in water. I took a bunch of clippings from a friend. He gave me a whole swack of them. I left them in a pail of water for probably 6 weeks. They started to show signs of life, little bits of green leaves on them, not a lot of roots, but just signs of greenery coming out at the nodes on each cutting. So I thought, okay, these things must be living or trying to reroot. So I just took them and stuck them all into this area here. This is an old rabbit cage from when my kids were little. So I'm thinking if they do take off, they got something to grow up. I don't think they're anything, really nice to look at. So I wanted to pick an area that's going to get lots of sun, but it's not really going to be in the way. So basically each one just looks like a little stick like this. And I got a whole row of them going here. So again, it's going to be see what happens next spring, see if anything comes back. So over here is what I like to call my berry orchard, or berry orchard in progress. I picked up a few Saskatoon berries and Haskups this fall, planted them in these cages, these bigger trees. These are dwarf sour cherries. I can't remember what they are called. Created here in Saskatchewan, or at the University of Saskatchewan. There's a whole strand of these sour dwarf cherries that are very similar to sweet cherries that you would see growing in warmer climates, but these are hardy to zone 3 Saskatchewan. So these are in their fourth year, or heading into fourth year, maybe next year. They should start producing fruit in the next year or two. And you'll notice that everything is caged. That's because we have deer that love to come into our yard and beat up any bush or anything that they can take on with their horns. So this is the season right now where the bucks come in. They like to take their horns and wreck things. We've lost a lot of trees over the years, so caging them is an absolute must if you want to make sure that they survive that season. So hopefully again next year, spring's always the telltale of how things did, whether they survived the winter. Hopefully these Saskatoons that I planted just about a month ago took root and got themselves established, and they will come back in the spring. So as I mentioned, I live in Saskatchewan, Canada in growing zone 3, which means we have very short outdoor growing seasons. And I love to grow. And if you're like me and want to keep growing, even though you've had to shut down your outdoor space, then, why not start growing indoors? So that's when I started teaching myself indoor hydroponics. And I want to just invite you to join my videos that will be coming to this channel. So make sure you subscribe. But also, if you really want to learn and take a deep dive into simple hydroponics, I try to keep it as simple as possible. You may want to join my community Gardeners Growing Together. So it's located on the Skool app. So you just need to click on the link in the description box below. It'll take you to my landing page, answer a few quick questions, and you are in. It's a free community. We are over 200, we're hitting up to 250 now members in the community, and we're from all over the world. And I'm learning so much. I love sharing what I know with everybody. People in the community are sharing what they know. So it's a really great community. If you want to kind of keep your thumbs green all year round, we garden all year round. I encourage you to join my community, Gardeners Growing Together. Again, link is in the description box. Hope to see you there. So I do want to show off my garden shed because I did do a big cleanup this fall. Everything came out of here, out onto the step, out onto the ground, and it is 100% better than it was. It's pretty hard to make garden sheds look really great, but I literally got rid of so many pots. I think I kept every pot that I ever grew something in or bought at a greenhouse from the last 5 years. But I narrowed it down to just a one container. This has got a lot of pots in it. They're all stacked up by size, so there's lots there. I have more than enough growing trays, so do not buy any more, Tracy, because you have enough. It's a really good thing to do. Get everything out of the cracks in the shelves and really see what you got. Take an inventory, and you'll see that, you got a lot more than you think, and there's a lot of stuff you can throw away. So I was able to haul away about 3 or 4 bags of garbage, and just nice to be able to close up the garden shed for the season and come back in spring to a nice, clean, organized little shed. So I hope you enjoyed walking through my fall garden and kind of seeing where things are at for me here. If you are still closing up your garden, maybe you have a longer season than I do, live in a bit of a warmer climate, would love to hear about it in the comments. I will be going all winter sharing my experiences with my indoor gardening. I also have a winter garden going. If you've seen those videos, I have spinach, carrots, beets still growing outdoors in a insulated grow box that I'm hoping that will get to maturity by, November, when the days get shorter, gets colder, and then I'm going to be able to keep them alive outdoors and harvest from them maybe to December. We'll see. It's kind of an experiment, and it's been really fun. I've been sharing lots of that on my channel and in my community. So stay tuned, watch for that, and I hope you will subscribe if you haven't already done so. Join the community, and we'll see you on the next video.